All right, so hello guys and gals, and welcome to day 3 of the Fast Forward Challenge. Um, so I just want to remind you, like, why are we doing this challenge, right? We're doing this challenge so that we can get back to the now. A lot of us have been stretching out, either in the past or in the future, stretching out beyond who we want to be. Um, Sometimes through the masks that we put out to the world, and sometimes just because life isn't just exactly responding to who we want it to be. So stretching out is our way to keeping that connection with life and actually enjoying whatever is presenting to us. Today, for day 3, what I want to focus on is the words. I really, really want you to understand how powerful the words that you use on a daily basis can change your view of where you are in your life, right? We're accustomed to looking at anything and everything that doesn't work, anything and everything that is more resistance and negative and pushing us down, right? Because we're fighting against it all the time. So the fighting actually puts so much attention on it that we are used to using those words. We're used to hearing the words obstacles and resistance and sabotage and failure, right? So those are the words that stick in our mind because why, right? We have to remember why our mind does what it does. Our mind is programmed to protect us. It's programmed to yell out and any chance it has to tell us exactly what are the risks of living are because we don't want to die, right? So the brain has evolved somewhat from when we were in a situation where every single day was life and death. However, there's a part of that brain that also still thinks that it's in a life and death experience every single day. So we need to understand where it stands and how it affects us. And that part of the brain reacts to the words we say and to how we react to those words. So understanding the power words, right? As much the powers that contract you and keep you in a risk mode and a hypervigilant mode is just as important as figuring out what are the words that expand you, right? The words that make you think that everything is possible, make you feel good, make you feel secure, make you feel opened. And this is what I want to focus on for the next 20 or so minutes, right? So, empowering your words means to start by observing which words trigger you. So, trigger you meaning the negative aspects, right? You all know your patterns. I know I did. And every time that I use specific wording or the way that the words would come out of my mouth, right, would provoke me into a state of negative patterns or negative reactions or just negative thinking. So the idea is to understand where are those words coming from and how in those patterns those negative words have impact. So I'm just going to say again the words that are more negative to me, just so that you can start and understand how your body is reacting to those words. And after that, I'm going to ask you to figure out, like in that state of being, in that position of body, which words are your words, your power words, but the power words that bring you down, right? Because, I mean, power is just power. It's how you use it that's going to trigger you to a positive state or to a negative state. It's sort of like money, it's energy, right? It's neither negative or positive. It's how you use it that creates all the difference. So here are the power words, the negative power words for me, right? So obstacle. See how that, like, even my voice and my body sort of like drops into obstacle. Resistance. There's already some kind of like contraction and going back and forth where I can't move that's positioning itself. Sabotage. The word sabotage like really clamps down on my sacral area and just wants me to like protect myself. Failure. Now that one is all over the heart and in my voice. And it may be different positions for you, right? What I'm trying to make you understand is and explore is how it's reacting to you and for you in your body. So if we add the word neglect, that for me drops into the back. There's like no support for me. I'm like not knowing where to go. Disappointment, where all of a sudden it's like the heart and the shoulders that are dropping down. I'm disappointed, right? So take a few minutes and actually write down what are the negative power words, the words that when you say these words, your body contracts, your body lowers down, your body like sort of like drops. It doesn't have a backbone anymore, right? So what are those power words? And start noticing how you use them. Are you using them while you complain? Are you using them when you are talking to yourself? Are you using them to explain to others why you don't feel good or why you're not getting what you want to get or why you're stuck? See how those words are resonating in your life. And just observe, right? Again, like throughout this challenge and throughout any exercises that I offer you, please don't be in judgmental mode. The only thing we are doing here is observing our patterns so that we can understand how to undo them or choose to take whatever works for us within them. All right, so now that we've worked on the negative side, let's go on the positive side, right? The empowering words, the words that will bring you abundance, the words that are going to create some kind of power position, poise, stature, posture, right? Those are the words that awaken the queen or the king in you. Those are the words that awaken the creative being you. So how about the words like freedom? Right? See, I can't say the word freedom without smiling. Because for me, freedom is like expansive. It's anything and everything is possible. How about the word happiness? Yeah, the heart, the belly, even the throat is all like jittery when I say the word happiness, joy. Same thing, right? The use of synonyms are even more interesting in this type of exercise because sometimes this word, yeah, it triggers a little, but that word, oh, geez, it gets me right. And sometimes the word like happiness may not ring a bell for you, but maybe for you, the word joy has more power in it. So it's not a question of being my words or your words. It's the question of which word fits in the moment. And maybe for now, the word joy might be your go-to. And maybe in a week from now, it's going to be different. Why? Because we evolve. There's no 2 days that we are alike, and there's no 2 minutes where we're actually living the same emotions and the same thoughts. So it's absolutely normal that a word will fit one day and may not fit exactly the other day. So get used to changing your power words. Go and get the ones that really work for you, right? So if we continue down, right? This power words, the power words of empowerment. How about celebration? Right? Celebration for me is like the bubbly, it's the champagne, it's the popping of the champagne and all the fizz that's in the air. And it's the fireworks, it's the shows, it's the community celebrating with me. It's not just me. And then we go to words that are a little bit more softer, but are just as powerful. How about the word peace, right? What happens to your body when you sit in the word peace? For me, it's like everything just settles down. Like I have a big comfy coat on next to a nice fire, and everything is like just calm and quiet, and I feel secure. How about the word light? We're so used to looking into the darkness and the sadness and the anger and all of those old emotions they're caught within us. But that word light sort of like pushes everything aside and makes room for more, makes room for hope, makes room for choosing to look at the world through a new lens. How about the word magic? Where is the magic in your life, right? How is that word creating space for you? How is that word a power word for you? Maybe it's not at all, right? Maybe it's another word that makes more sense to you. Allow yourself to go and choose that word. And every time that you choose a word, see how it resonates within you, right? And that will come back to the I am position of the challenge, the day one challenge, right? The I am. How can you define the power words surrounding that I am? That part of me that has always existed and will always exist. That part of me I am proud of being. That part of me that is unique, that nobody else can be, and that I choose to offer the world. How do you stand in that I am? What power words define that I am? Look at your posture, right? Look at what's rolling around in your mind when you're saying this, I am. I don't need to be anything else except that I am and I exist. And because I exist, that's all that matters. So when you settle down in these words, right, and you talk about celebration and magic and love and joy and peace and freedom, all of a sudden there's like so much more possibilities that are opening up. So look into your life and know, where are those power words being used? And many who do this exercise for the first time will recognize that those power words, they're not used often enough. Like, I invite my clients at least once a week to celebrate whatever they've gained, because every single one of us gains something during the week. We don't really know what, right? But if you do the exercise right now and you actually pay attention, what are you celebrating today, right? What are you celebrating that you are? What are you celebrating that you do? And what are you celebrating that you want to have and be and do? What makes you proud? What makes you poised? What makes you empowered in your life right now, right? What we focus on amplifies. So if we focus on the good and we focus on the better and we focus on all of these power words that are very positive and empowering, well, then these will become the words that you use more often. Doing this exercise will show you how perhaps you don't use them enough and where you could use them even more. And sometimes it's just a question of balancing out, right? Oftentimes it will say, well, I don't want to be angry right now. Okay, well, switch it up. I'd love to be happy right now. I'd love to be confident right now. I'd love to be compassionate right now. All of those are good options to flip out. I don't want to be angry. So just by choosing those power words and using them properly in your life, you're already attracting them more than the anger. Now, people say, yeah, is that true, right? Are we really, really manifesting the words that we focus on? Well, yeah. If I tell you to watch out for the blue cars, and you go the road in about 15 or 20 minutes, I guarantee you that you will see a bunch of blue cars all over. And I'm sorry, because I just put that in your head, right? It's the same thing when we consider the words we use. So if I say, well, I want to focus on happy today, well, I will find more happiness just because I programmed myself to be looking that way because I said those words. So you can use that. Use it to your advantage. If you wake up in the morning, you're feeling so and so, well, write down 3 power words that are going to bring you to focus in the right direction for the rest of the day, right? So how do we know our body is reacting to the words are the right one, right? We know we are using the right words when our body reacts. The knowledge that is in our body, we call that somatic knowledge, is very powerful because it is linked to our unconscious mind. The body knows, right? Why do animals go a little bit frantic right before an earthquake? Because their body is talking to them. It's talking to them to say, something's coming, get out of the way, get safety, get to security. Well, our body talks to us the same way. We forget that we're mammals, but we are mammals, right? So our body talks to us. So when we say these words, just to be sure it's the right word, listen to your body, right? How is your mind responding to this? Is it, yeah, that's a good word for me. Yeah, I like that. Or is there hesitation? Yeah, it works. And you're trying to convince yourself, well, choose another word, for God's sakes, because that's not the right word. How's your heart reacting? Is your heart expanding and wanting more? Or is your heart going like, yeah, that's good? Or the contrary, the worst part would be if the heart goes like, not for me today. And like I say, sometimes the word you will use today will not be the words you need to use tomorrow. And by noticing how your body is reacting, it's going to be the same way. Now, a trick that you can use is actually use the Post-it notes and put it on one of the walls or one of your doors and see how your body reacts when you move forward towards it, right? If when you move forward towards it, there's part of you that wants to stay behind, well, chances are choose another word, right? Because that word, there's part of you that's not connecting to that word, or there's part of you that's not getting what it needs in that word. But if all of you just gets sort of like attracted to the word that's on the door, well, chances are it's the right one, or it's the right one for now. So how do you build this every day, right? How do you integrate choosing your power words and making it part of your life? Well, first off, just having them written down so that you visually can see them is often a very, very good sign. Like you can have it, if you live with other people, you can't put Post-it notes everywhere. It looks a little bit funny, right? Especially if you have a lot of visitors or you have clients coming to town. So what I do is I have a notebook in which I write all of my power words and I focus on them. I often write them the night before I go to sleep, so I can focus on those words, and I ask the universe to help me bring those words to life the next day. I read them again in the morning, and I do read them out loud. Why is that important to read them out loud? Because when we speak those words resonate, right? We cannot speak without breath. And breath actually brings alive every single cell of our body. So when we do these exercises where we speak our power words to attract them and invite them in our lives, the minute we resonate them, we are also resonating them in every single cell of our body because we're breathing it and because we are speaking them, the vibration will get to them. So that's how we get the body to help us find the right one. We know what that vibration feels like. So our body will be looking for it during that day. Our unconscious mind will be looking for it that day. So you don't have to spend your entire life to say, okay, would this be a happy person? Would this be a happy place? Would this be a happy positive possibility? Would this be, you don't have to be like worrying about that all day long, right? Your body will wake up and tell you when something really good is coming. These are the power words I want to focus on. So I'm asking you and I'm asking the universe to show me when it is, either by making me vibrate the way I vibrate when I just say those words, or paying attention to them. Sort of like the blue car, right? If you go down the highway and you're not really paying attention, you will still notice the blue cars because, yeah, sorry, you put that in your head. You could choose another color. That's what's interesting, right? So opening up that door makes you focus on a word, but during the day you could decide to focus on another one. So as your emotions are evolving, as your reactions are evolving, as you're presented with obstacles and resistance and pains and failures and all kinds of negative stuff, you can also choose to say, okay, well, I'm feeling my body going, I'm choosing to focus on this word to compensate, right? So eventually what you're going to learn is how a negative power word is connected to positive words, and probably many positive words. Our language is interesting. Both French and English, I'm bilingual, and in both languages, there's often many, many more positive power words that can compensate for a negative one. And so if you start doing sort of like a tree, right? For every negative word, you write down 3 or 4 or 5 different positive power words. You get to choose how you flip during the day. So, all right, right now I'm feeling not so good. What's the not so good? Is it disappointment? Is it frustration? Is it exasperation? Is it, yeah, choose those words and then go to the power words in the other, on the other side of your book, right? Or on the other side of the page. And instead of saying, well, I'm feeling frustrated right now, flip it around. I would love to feel more excited right now. I would love to feel more happy right now. I would love to feel more satisfied right now. Use the power words that flip it around for you. So if you sit in these power words now, right? Because I've been talking all this way, right? But the idea was to give you options and to make you think about what's going on in your body, in your mind, in your head, in your heart. So focus down today. What are the 3 powers? What are the 3 negative power words that are there and that are causing you to contract or disconnect or just not have enough energy? And after writing them down on the other side, right, literally create a line that gets to the other ones, that redirects to the positive power words. Now, imagine what positive power words could either negate that first negative power word or give it contrast. Give it contrast is, it's not necessarily completely eliminating it, right? But it's giving it a different option, different perspective. So what are the 3 words that you could play with today and that you can start exercising and see how it changes, right? So that when you come into a certain situation and you have the negative words appearing and nagging and, well, it's just observing them, right? Again, there's no judgment in this. It's a program that's functioning in your mind and you're wanting to choose differently. So observing it at first will allow you to choose differently. Now, this is what's interesting, right? Because many of us have been on that road for so long that the program is like a highway where everything is going so fast that we can't even stop it. And as you're observing the first time, you will only notice it. You won't be necessarily able to change your behavior or change your reaction or choose a different word, but you'll notice that word came up, the program's kicked in, and this is what happened, and I just went to negative mode. But as you start observing more regularly, eventually there's going to be a gap. There's going to be like a 5 to 10 second gap where you're going to observe the word kicking in, observe your reaction, your negative reactions starting. And in that 5 to 10 seconds, you'll be able to choose differently. Sometimes you'll be able to choose a different word. Sometimes you'll be able to choose a different reaction. And sometimes you'll be able to just like recorrect your body language so that it doesn't dump into the negative pattern. So try it, right? And be so compassionate. I mean, we are transforming. Like any child that is learning something, we need to become compassionate about the process and we need to be patient throughout the process. Some days it's going to be easier than others. Why? Because sometimes we have less things being pushed on us by the outside world, so it's easier to focus on the inside world. And on the days where you can more easily focus on the inside world, well, that's when you sit down and you write those power words, right? Becoming conscious of the negative power words and how they crush you down, and also becoming very aware and very choosing in the power words that are going to be positive and bring you up and empower you. So see how those happen in your life, how you can dance from one to the other in your life, and how no matter what the negative words appear, you can choose to react differently just by focusing on the right word. Just by saying, even if you're angry, you can say, I am happy right now. Even if it's an angry voice, it doesn't matter. The happy has a resonance in your body. So right then, you're starting to switch. And the more you'll say it, the less angry the voice will be, and the more happier the voice will be. So choose your power words, right? Hopefully what I've offered today makes sense to you and makes sense on how you can use them to be more aware of what's going on in your body, aware of how you are reacting in your day, and how you can redirect it, right? So thank you for day 3, and I look forward to meeting you again tomorrow for day 4.